Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. What I'm going to do is I have this frog and I'm going to remove the frog from the white background so I could place it somewhere else. In order to remove an object from a background, there are so many different ways of doing it, but a couple of things are important to mention when talking about this very specific image. First of all, I've gone with an animal that doesn't have hair because removing hair is very difficult, especially for those who are starting to learn Photoshop. The other thing to notice is that the background is a solid color. We do have some shadows over here. That's something we need to take into consideration, and also some of the hands at the back are becoming blurred out. I am going to show a few methods that can be used in order to remove the background. Not all of them are suitable for this case, but this is just an excuse to teach you those tools. And there is no right or wrong in terms of what tool is right, what tool is wrong. All tools are good, all tools are right. It's just about using them based on the image that you have and based on the situation that you are facing. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this layer by right clicking and pressing duplicate layer, and that's because we want to come back into it. And it's very important that when we have multiple layers, we hide the one underneath. This is very, very important, because I could go and select the part of this image and press delete, and I'm thinking, well, I just deleted that part. Why is it not deleted? It's because there's a layer underneath. If I was to hide the layer underneath, then I can see that I have in fact deleted the layer on top. Now, one thing to actually also mention in Photoshop is when you make mistakes, you can press Ctrl Z to go back once, but if you need to go back multiple times, you can hold Ctrl Alt and then press Z, and that will undo. The other thing that you can do, you can go to Edit and you can click on Undo Brush tool. Edit, undo brush, edit, undo brush. That will again be the same thing as Ctrl Z. Or if you go to Edit, step backward, that will then keep on going. That's Ctrl Alt, and you can actually see the shortcuts here. So Ctrl Z goes back, and Ctrl Alt Ctrl Z is backwards. The other thing that you can do is you can go to Windows and open up what we call the history. And when you open up the history, it will tell you the 22 last clicks that you have done. And in this case, we have used the brush tool multiple times, and I want to get rid of that, and I could close that off. Okay, so I'm going to select the layer and I'm going to start removing this from the background. One of the very easiest ways is to use the magic wand. If I go and click on the magic wand, I can click on this. Just by one click, it will go ahead and it will select the white pixels. And as you can see, some of the darker areas where the shadow is, it hasn't selected those under the belly and so on and so forth, but he has done a decent job around the fingers and around the back. To deselect, when you have made a selection, we have these moving ants going around. You can press Ctrl D on the keyboard, that's to deselect, or you could go to select and click on deselect, and that will also deselect your model. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and we can press delete, and as you can see, the shadows are left behind. But what I am going to do is, there's a tolerance here. The default value is usually on 32. If the value is less, so if I put, let's say, 15, which is quite low, you can see that it's not selecting the shadow as much as it was, so it's tolerating less color differentiation, whereas where it was at 50, it was more than happy to go further into this darker areas of the image as well. Now I could go ahead and go put 100 in there and click again, but now you can see that it's also going into the frog and selecting parts of the frog as well. If you're wondering how I zoomed in and out, I was holding Alt on the keyboard and scrolling in and out. And once you have scrolled in, and only once you've scrolled in and these menu bars, the scroller bars come up, only then what you can do is, if you hold space on the keyboard, it will temporarily turn your tool into this hand tool, and you can click and drag in order to pan the screen. So you can see that the magic wand tool does a decent job. I could go ahead and select it and press delete and select the other part and press delete and select the other part and try to keep on going. again, I'm not trying to say what tool you should or should not use, but I am telling you what is available so you can understand how they work. So that was one way of doing it. I'm going to stop the tutorial here, and I will come back and show you different methods to use. Thank you.